Hello, welcome to the aftermarket analysis session as usual. This is the aftermarket analysis session of the Indian market where we look at where Nifty and Bank Nifty stand after closing. Today, what happened in Nifty and Bank Nifty, where the buyers were interested, on the OB Kiriko, where the sellers were interested. Okay, and put, what confirmation did the print give? So if you are new and want to learn order flow, okay, want to learn how to use GoCharting effectively. You can join this live session every evening at 5 o'clock. The link for this live session is uploaded on the GoCharting Discord and Telegram community before 5 o'clock. And also, if you are using GoCharting around 5 o'clock, there is a notification here as well. By going here on the right side, you can see, okay, you will find the link to this webinar here. In any case, if you missed the webinar and you also want to learn many things about GoChart order flow, then there is a lot of content uploaded on the GoCharting YouTube channels. You will find all the GoCharting YouTube links in the description. There are different YouTube channels for each language, and Holi has just passed. So the Holi offer of 30% is still ongoing, which is 30%. If you take any new subscription by Cat, you will get 30% off. After this live session, after 5 o'clock, we also hold a Q&A session where any of your queries regarding order flow, GoCharting, or anything else are resolved here. So about the volume profile, let's take a look at what the confirmations were for today's volume profiles. Okay. For the past 3 days, Nifty was within a range, and a complete note of that range was made. The value area low and value area high were acting as a resistance zone. If it broke, we had this volume note, which was the volume note of this session. And yet, if it broke that zone, then it had the volume note from the previous session. And this was the zone that worked today. And I think this was the playing range in which Nifty made a complete movement. What does the volume profile theory say? The market always travels from one volume node to another volume node, like this volume node. As soon as this breakpoint zone was broken today, we will see movement up to the next volume node. From one value area to another value area said, okay. So this was the confirmation of the volume profile. Now we look at the delta. We go here, look at the delta, and examine all the footprints to see how the footprints provided us with any confirmation at these levels. Okay. Before reading the footprint properly, you should know what delta is, because we are going to read the footprint with the help of delta. What is delta? We refer to the difference between buyers and sellers as delta. Let's take the first candle, for example. What is its delta? This is the value of the delta. It has a negative sign and is inside the red box. So that means this is negative delta. Negative delta always denotes sellers, meaning negative delta. So here we are talking about sellers. What does delta indicate? Again, what is the difference? Negative delta. It means there are more sellers, specifically within this particular candle. As compared to buyers, if there are 200,000 buyers, there will be 400,000 sellers here. So where does the difference come in? 400,000 sellers. For example, the entire left side, okay, which is the seller's side, and the right side is the buyer's side. If I add up the entire left side, what we get is a negative 400,000 value to understand. Similarly, when I add up the buyers, the entire right side, it comes out to be 200,000. So the difference came to negative 200,000. Okay, similarly here, delta is negative, meaning within that candle, there is more selling. And anywhere there is a positive delta. For example, inside a green box, it is in the positive. and there is no negative sign in front of 82. That means this is a positive delta, and a positive delta always indicates buyers, like in this candle. So the delta value of this candle is around 80,000. So that means there are 80,000 more buyers here compared to sellers. How are there more buyers? Assume there are 100,000 sellers, while there are 180,000 buyers this time. Okay, 180,000. Okay, when I added the buyers on the right side, added the sellers to understand value. So sellers hire 1 lakh buyers by 180,000. So where was the difference created? Around 80,000. Okay, so this is the difference that delta showed us here. Now look at one thing in delta. We are getting the essence of every candle, like essence in the sense of the result of every candle. Who is powerful within this candle? Buyer or seller? Delta showed seller. So when we looked at delta, it became clear that within this candle, there are more sellers. What goes inside this candle? The buyer is more powerful. It was shown in a second by looking at delta, but now how will we read the footprint with the help of delta? Like you are seeing two types of delta here. One day's value is very significant. Now let's consider both negative and positive. And secondly, like this 2 lakh on point, 46K. At K, around, again at K, 40K, 37K. And there are some candles whose delta is very low. Only 18K, 2K, 3K, again 9K, 5K. Meaning there are some candles whose delta is very low and some candles whose delta is very high. So the candles with the very high delta are the ones where there is more buying and selling. And where there is more buying and selling, those candles have the potential to move the market somewhere and create support or resistance somewhere. The candles with very little buying and selling, with very weak data around 10 or 12, in those candles, you don't see anything solid in them. So what is the benefit? We will follow only those candles with a large delta on the positive or negative side. Okay. How to read the first candle footprint? Very important things, listen carefully. Negative delta. For the first candle, always read it very carefully. There are around 200,000 sellers. The delta within this candle has indicated that. If there are more sellers, then which particular point is it? Meaning, if there are more sellers, which side are the sellers on? Which side is the lab side? Which side is the buyer's side? Which side is the right side? See who are more sellers. So we will go to the seller's side and identify that particular point where exactly. Where are the most sellers? Where are the sellers the most? Look, from 93 to 202, 90, and 53. Okay, so this is the place. It was a support zone where a significant selling activity occurred when it was broken. This is where the most sellers are. And the next candle is again heavy. Who has the higher delta? More sellers. This is the place where the selling activity has occurred. In the next candle, there was also significant selling activity, meaning what scenario is emerging here is that in the first candle, aggressive sellers entered with a very large quantity and continued to move the price. Up to the pullback, there was a solid pullback around T2. Buying occurred at T2. But where was the largest buying? One was at T2 and another at 34K. In the next candle, there was solid data of 47K. But where was the largest buying? Here at 64K, 45K. Yep. Now, one thing worth noticing here is, did the price of this candle move much? Okay, but there wasn't a particular solid spot where large buying occurred in a small area, 64K and 40K. 45K buying happened only in this area, around 100K buying occurred, and there wasn't a scenario like 52K. Okay, so in these two candles, back-to-back buying happened, but the largest buying occurred here, and this candle broke both buying zones on the downside. That means, look at the first candle. This was the selling zone where heavy selling occurred. So until this zone breaks on the upside, no bullish movement was expected. As long as it respects this as resistance, we can expect some further downside movement. Similarly, when a buying activity occurred until this buying activity breaks on the downside, no bearish movement will come. Now this buying activity will break on the downside, so that means there is no buying zone left. And this buying here got absorbed and broke. This candle broke all buying zones. The selling zone's resistance was respected, and another sharp downside movement came here until the next volume node. Now, in this downside movement, what did we see? Good selling in this candle, good selling in this candle, and again, significant selling in this candle with a negative delta of 133K. What did this delta indicate? There was more selling inside this candle, so we went to the selling side, and we will look at the place where the most selling occurred, which is the place of 64K selling, 121K selling, and 40K selling. Look, there was a sale of 24,000. One place had a sale of 64,000, 1,21,000, and 40,000. The biggest sale was of 1,21,000, then 64,000, and just 40,000. This is the zone where particular selling happened. What happened in the next candle? Again selling, a delta of 65,000, and the price continued to move. This zone will not break on the upside. So until it doesn't break on the upside, we can't expect some bullish movement. Okay, again, it came on a pullback. Buying activity of 34,000 was observed, and the largest buying activity was at 46,000. In the next candle, the buying activity of 34,000 also faced rejection. If the resistance that doesn't break, as soon as the resistance breaks, it means whatever buying activity happened here, what will happen to it? Now, it will be absorbed. It means that the limit sellers were powerful here who protected this price. Who absorbs the buyers? The limit sellers. It's as simple as that. Again, it came on the pullback this time. There isn't any solid buying activity, just this one of 15,000. If we had waited for the closing of this candle, we would have gotten it. Any buying activity is solid. And again, where did the price come to? As we saw yesterday, according to the volume profile, another selling was observed. A selling of 76,000 was seen. This was also somewhat okay. But the issue here is that the resistance SL was a bit larger. There was more volume here at the selling of 55. And what was the delta formed here? With a delta of around 1 lakh. This resistance, this one, was better. Again, significant selling came in. And if we mark this selling zone, so again, while breaking the same, it takes a pullback in the same area. This broke. So what was today's Nifty? First, aggressive sellers entered here. During the pullback, some buying activity came in. Okay. It was absorbed. How was it absorbed? This candle showed it was absorbed. A significant price movement started. Another big selling came in, which acted as another resistance. Okay. Then from there, respect and what was observed inside Bank Nifty. Today, Bank Nifty was very bullish. I mean, the police was bullish. That's why Nifty gave only 300 points. Otherwise, I would have also given the same to Nifty. Expected. If it had been even slightly bearish, I would have expected Nifty to show a downside of 400, meaning 200 to 300 points more. Let's see what happened here with the delta, buying, selling, buying, bye-bye. In the first candle of buying, there was buying. Before the buying zone, there was a candle with selling, but the selling did not break the buying zone again. As long as the buying zones are not broken, any downside is minimal. Expectedly, aggressive buyers came in here again. Okay, there was a pullback. Again, not exactly a precise pullback, but still, there was another buying at 19,000. another buying at 22,000. Okay, and similarly, while taking a pullback, there was a pullback. And now on the side, there were two big buyings in these candles. And the buying zones of these candles acted as support here. From there, after taking a pullback, Bank Nifty gave an upside movement. Currently, there isn't much volume in Bank Nifty. Sir,